you love it. And today, you're gonna learn it, Sweet Home Alabama on the mandolin. This song is so classic, and I couldn't help but make a video on how to play it because it is so fun to play. And I am going directly off of the Leonard Skinner recording, the riffs that are in that recording, the roadmap of that recording. That's what we're going off of today. So by the end of this, you should be able to play along with the recording, maybe with some practice, but you'll get there. And as usual, I do have the tab and sheet music available on my website for free. So make sure you go check that out and let's get into it. This whole song is built off of one chord progression. That chord progression goes throughout the whole entire song, and there's only one place where it changes. And in total, you only need to know 4 chords to play this song. Only 4 chords. And one of them is your open G chord, which almost every mandolin player knows that chord when they start out. So, open G chord. Got that one down. We're gonna start off with what's called a D5. If you're confused about that, what D5 means is that we are just playing the 1, which is D, and the 5. So if we count up D, E, F, G, A is the 5th. So we're just playing the 1 and the 5. That's it. No other notes in that chord. I'm gonna throw up a chord diagram on the screen. That way you can see what this chord is. But basically, we're playing our G string, our D string, and our A string. You don't want to play the E string on this chord, so you're just going to want to play those bottom 3 strings. With this D5 chord, what I like to do for my hands and my fingers is I use 2nd finger, 3rd finger, 1st finger, but I know that for some people it's really difficult to cram your 2nd and 3rd finger onto the same fret. So if your fingers are big enough, then you might be able just to use your 2nd finger and bar or press on both of those strings. And if you can do that, that's great. For me, I can't get a clean sound that way, so I use both fingers. Next, we're going into a C2 chord. Now, this is where the beginner to intermediate is going to come into effect a little bit. If you are a beginner and you just want to play this song and have fun and not stress yourself out trying to get a hard bar chord down, then here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna take this D5, you're gonna slide it down 2 frets. You've got your C chord, you are good to go. It's gonna sound just fine. If you want to take the easiest way out, that's what I suggest you do. And if you're not sure if you're going to be able to do the harder version, then just start with the easier version, practice that, and then you can always come back and do the harder version. The harder version, I'm saying it's harder because you're going to bar 3 strings, the 3 bottom strings, and that's going to give us your C2 chord. Again, that little number next to the 2, if C is our 1, 2 is going to be D, C, D. So we're adding a D into this chord. So in order to do that, we're going to play the 5th fret, the 5th fret, and the 5th fret, C, G, D. So if you are brave enough to try this bar chord, then go for it. However, if it's just proving too difficult, then feel free to just slide the D5 down. It's going to sound just fine, I promise. Then after that, we go into our G chord, which everybody loves G. So that's the progression that this whole entire song is based off of, those 3 chords. The strumming pattern that we're gonna do is actually relatively simple. It's nothing too crazy. So you're going to hit the bottom 2 strings. And by bottom, I'm always referring to pitch, not where they're located. So by bottom 2 strings, I'm talking about the lowest 2 strings, which is your G string and your D string. You're gonna hit 2 downstrokes, like that. You're gonna hit the A string note, that's gonna be another downstroke. And then you're gonna hit your D string note, that's gonna be an upstroke. Like that. Down, 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 up. You shift down to your C2 chord, down, 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 up. Same exact thing. You go to your G chord, down, down. Then we're gonna hit the full chord on a downstroke. Once I would suggest just practicing that and get used to those transitions between the chords, because that's what the whole song is based off of. So and really you could play the whole song just with those 3 chords. You could take that strumming pattern and you could play that throughout the whole entire song. If you want to spice it up a little bit, what you're gonna do is you're gonna add a mute. So when you're doing those 2 downs, if you take off the pressure, so release the pressure on the strings in between, so down, release pressure, down. So that gives a little break like that instead of, and that's just gonna add a little bit more nuance, a little bit more variation. Okay, so there you go. That's the strumming pattern. Now, if you want to learn the little riff, the little intro riff that's right at the beginning, what you're gonna do is it is written out. So download the sheet music if you haven't done that. And we have a hammer on first. So you're gonna hit A or the 2nd fret on the G string. You're gonna hammer on to your 2nd finger, okay? So we've got down, hammer, and then you're gonna go to your open D string. That's gonna be another downstroke. And then everything else is gonna be back and forth from here on out. So we've got D, E, hit your D string again, and then we've got a slide. So the little slash that is drawn between the A and the B, or the 2nd fret and the 4th fret, that stands for a slide. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna play that A or 2nd fret with your 1st finger, and then you're gonna slide up to the 4th fret with the same finger. Okay? So we have the hammer on and then the slide at the end. So practice that a couple times, and then slowly you can start to speed that up. And then that slide is gonna lead you right back in to the D5 chord. So really you're almost just gonna keep sliding until you get back to your D5 chord. So practice that. And the slide really after the A, if you slide up to the B, great, but also if you kind of make that a continuous slide all the way to the D5 where you're not really stopping on the 4th fret or on the B, that's okay too. It goes by so fast. We want the effect of the slide. It doesn't really matter if we hear the 4th fret or the B note. Kind of like that. It's just one long slide until we land back on the D5 chord. So that is the main intro riff, and with that you can pretty much play a large majority of this song just knowing that. And if you are a beginner, then maybe you learn that, the chord progression and the strumming pattern, and that riff, and then you're good. You just repeat that. However, if you want to, I do have written all of the extra little riffs that are written in for the song, because the electric guitar player does do different things. He changes it up. He changes it up a little bit. So if you want to, you can learn all of those and it'll all be notated on the music. I will go ahead and play that through. whole intro with all of the different riffs that the electric guitar player does, he does change it up every single time. So if you want to go learn those, you can, but don't feel like you have to. The song is still going to be recognizable even if you don't know all of the little variations of the riff. That's totally fine. If you do want to learn those, quick note, in measure 4, I am using open A and then my second finger for that G, or for the 5th fret on the D string, and then 1, 2, and then sliding up with my first finger. That way I can get back to my D5 chord. And all of those fingerings are notated in the music. The riff in measure 6 is almost the same as the original one in measure 2. The only difference is the last 2 notes. You've got 7th fret, 5th fret, and then you're back. And then the last one is just cut short a little bit. Moving on to the verse. Same exact chord pattern continues. So the riff here in the verse, it's similar to the one in measure 2, but it is different. So you're gonna start with that same hammer on D string, except here you're gonna go up to G, so up to the 5th fret, and then you're gonna play that again, and then we've got that same slide going back in. So the beginning and the end are the same, but the little part in the middle is a little bit different. Thank goodness. The riff in measure 14 is the exact same as the one at the beginning of the verse, so nothing new to learn there. Then we have the really fun interlude, the part that everybody knows. This part. And this part does repeat twice, and it's only 2 measures. So we have a little chromaticism here, walking fret by fret. So we've got 2nd fret on the D string, 3rd fret on the D string, 4th fret on the D string. And what I like to do is I just slide up, and I just use my pick. I hit the E once, like that. And then you're gonna leave your 2nd finger here on the 4th fret, and you're gonna hit the 5th fret on the A string. So, and then you hit those individually. And then we have another hammer on, just tons of slides, hammer-ons in this song, just embrace it. We have open D to 1st finger, 2nd fret. Leave 1st finger down, you're gonna play 3rd fret on the A string. Like that. And also here, if you want to add a little break in this sound as well, so lift, press down again. So that way you get that nice little clean pause instead of. And then we have the first part of the riff that's in the verse, but then you're just gonna go straight to your open G string. And then we repeat that whole pattern one more time. The only difference, if you want to add, they do a little extra thing right there at the end of measure 20. If you want to add that in, feel free. Then we go into verse 2, which is exactly the same as verse 1. Nothing to worry about there. Going into the chorus, same chord progression. So it's similar. We kind of have variations of the same little riff just sprinkled all throughout the song. So we got the same hammer on, and then open D string, 2nd fret, D string, and then we've got this fun pushed chord. and that's going to be your 5th fret on your G string and your D string, and that's going to be an upstroke because it'll be down, down, up, down, up. Like that. And then you're right back in. And then here, really this is up to you. In the recording, the guitar player does this thing. Basically where you're gonna hammer on from the 7th fret to the 9th fret on your G string, and then 5th fret on the D string. Those 3 notes are gonna be repeated. And then we have, at the very end of the chorus, we finally get to that 4th chord that I was mentioning, and this is an F chord. There's plenty of different ways you can play an F. I tend to go with the bar chord, F. You can also play this F, and then we're going into a C chord. So I also like the bar chord C, but there's plenty of other C chords. You can even just do your open C chord if you would like to. So yeah, and then basically from here on out, it's repetition. You do get, there's a couple other places where they do go to that F and then C, and it's very obvious where they do that. And but other than that, it goes back to the chorus, and the chorus is the exact same, the verses are the exact same. So I left the music here to do with as you will. If you want to keep playing along with the recording, by all means you definitely can. It's just going to be a repetition of all of the riffs and chords that we've already talked about. But yeah, this song is super, super fun to play. It can be challenging, but just take it slow. And if you're even struggling with some of the chords to melody, back to chords, melody, that is tricky to go from full-on strumming where your arm is floating, it's not attached to anything, all of a sudden to have to play these really fast notes where you're gonna need your contact point over here. So you want your wrist to be grazing the strings back here, and then you're back to strumming where it's free. So you do have that back and forth, which can be difficult, but just make sure that when you're playing the single notes, the melody notes, that you are anchored, your wrist is anchored on the bridge, grazing the strings back behind here. Otherwise, you're gonna have a really hard time hitting the strings that you want to and just controlling those notes. I will have, at the end of this video, I will have a full playthrough, so go check out that run through, and thank you guys, as always, for watching. Hopefully you have fun playing this, and feel free to leave a comment down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for me, and I will see you guys in my next video.